Hi, and welcome. My name is Lori Hendren. I'm the Senior Associate State Director for AARP Illinois. AARP is a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization that's working to promote the health and well being of older Americans for more than 60 years. Today, we have a virtual event focused on why Medicaid matters to me and to your loved ones. And we're going to be taking a deeper dive on the unwinding of the Medicaid renewals. So, a little background. Starting in May 2023, the state of Illinois is asking Medicaid customers in Illinois to renew their health care coverage. People who use Medicaid has had a continuous coverage since the start of COVID-19 pandemic, but Congress has ended that and the pause on annual eligibility verifications, known as redeterminations or simply renewals. You may have heard on the news. In addition, the federal government has set an end to other pandemic related Medicaid changes put in place during the federal public health emergency. Here at AARP, we are committed to connecting you to the resources as this pandemic coverage unwinds to support you and your loved ones, continuing coverage, understanding important dates and timelines, and knowing where to go for more information and real time resources. And to do that today, we have Kelly Cunningham joining us. Kelly, welcome, and tell our guests a little bit who you are, where you're from, and why you're joining us today.
Hi, thank you, Lori. I really appreciate being invited to join you today. I'm glad to be here and glad to be talking about the important topic of Medicaid redeterminations for everyone who is interested. I am the Medicaid administrator at Healthcare and Family Services. I can tell you that this topic of redetermination has been first and foremost in our minds for literally since the pandemic began back in 2020. Um, and we'll be getting into this a little bit more, but I wanted to, first of all, really thank Lori for inviting me to participate and thank AARP for hosting this event. The information that we're going to share today, it's just not for customers served by the Medicaid program, but also people that are helpers of our customers, whether it's in your work, your volunteer time, members of your church, your community, your friends. It's important to spread the word and to make sure that all of the almost 4 million Illinoisans, it's about 25% of the people in the state, make sure they take action when it's time to renew their coverage. We know healthcare is important and to all aspects of our lives, being able to play with grandchildren, being able to continue our hobbies, being lifelong learners, and volunteering for causes important to us.
That's wonderful. And I've known Kelly for a while since I've been with AARP, and she is certainly the go to person on anything that is Medicaid. So I am thrilled to have her here with us. AARP is proud to provide this information resources to truly help older adults and those caring for them. In Illinois, we have 1.3 million family caregivers, and this information is very much important for them as they may be coming in and getting the mail, getting the information, and trying to manage these critical decisions. And what Kelly said is this is a conversation we should just be having at circles, and I would say even at your Thanksgiving table and the holidays, just as a FYI to your loved ones, making sure you've just taken these simple steps. And today we're going to have this 30 minutes kind of power session with Kelly just to give you the information here, where to go, and to get more information. So with AARP, if you have any more information you want to have, we have her at states.aarp.org /Illinois. So let's get started. This is real basic question, but what is Medicaid, Kelly? And can you give examples of Medicaid programs in Illinois?
Sure. So Medicaid is a federal state partnership healthcare program. Was established in the mid 1960s. It's for low income individuals of all ages, including pregnant women, babies, children, young adults, working age adults, people with disabilities, seniors, and everybody in between. So the chances of you knowing someone on Medicaid are very good because it literally spans our entire population. There are income limits to various parts of the program. But the program actually provides very rich coverage in terms of healthcare benefits and services. And from a financial perspective, I think why it's so important to the state and to state government is that the federal government actually matches 50
Mm,
cents of every dollar we spend on medical services for individuals who qualify. So again, a public partnership between the state and federal government, very rich, robust benefits. An example of a Medicaid program that you may have heard of might be the Community Care Program, which is a home and community-based waiver program serving seniors over the age of 65 by providing services to them in their homes to help them stay in their homes and communities.
wonderful. So, Kelly, what about if someone you have a loved one in a nursing home and you remember like having to spend down and they qualified for Medicaid? Would this be a conversation, something you need to do as well?
Yes,
Okay.
that this would be a conversation you would need to do. I think many individuals who came on the Medicaid program during the pandemic qualified because states were really given a lot of flexibilities by the federal government in terms of waiving asset levels and uh, really relaxing some of the rules around the Medicaid program. First and foremost, because we wanted people to receive health care.
Mm,
This again was during COVID, a pandemic, a horrible time in our public health system. And the state and federal governments together, I think, felt so strongly that people needed access to health care that we were able to really take advantage of a lot of those flexibilities in terms of income and assets and services and limits, including the annual requirement for a redetermination. And that's really what's changing now, Lori, kind of at its heart, is that you applied before. You may have been on for a couple of years, you or your friends or a loved one. Now you actually need to reapply. And that's going to be, I think, the focus of our conversation.
yeah. So you may have encapsulated here. So the Medicaid continuous coverage was truly during the pandemic, and am I right to understand people just automatically re-enrolled and they didn't have to do anything? And now we're kind of going back to the traditional Medicaid where the responsibility is to reapply every year. Can you clarify that for me? Because
Yeah.
we're in, lack of a better term, regular Medicaid coverage, and there's a responsibility, which we're talking about today, to ensure um, no bumps in the road with your healthcare coverage. So walk
Right.
me through that again.
Absolutely. So yes, the continuous coverage period, is ending and or has ended for most states, and redeterminations have to begin again. And so I can talk specifically about Illinois. We saw this coming for months and months and months, and all states did. And so we had the benefit of planning a little bit for the end of continuous coverage and the steps that we would take as a state government to ensure that individuals knew that they had to reapply for Medicaid, and then that we would be able to find them. So early on in the process, and this is work we've been undertaking now actually for over a year, we launched a campaign to encourage individuals to contact us with their current addresses, text numbers, phone numbers, because we knew that we would have a short period of time to reach people when they had to reapply. And so this has been an effort. You may have seen some of our
Mhm.
signs on buses or billboards. We really knew that we had to find people quickly, remind them of the need to reapply. Many of them have never been through an application process or a redetermination process, but that their health care was at stake. And we knew we had to take aggressive efforts to find people, inform them, and take the steps necessary for them to continue their coverage.
So then what will happen? We have the end of continuous coverage. How will it affect someone's Medicaid or their loved one's Medicaid? So you don't fill out and reapply. What happens?
Well, if you don't reapply, first of all, I will say it's not that everyone is going to lose coverage at the same time. That
Okay.
has been a concern we have heard, and so we are reassessing individuals, redetermining individuals on a rolling basis. We will take 14 months to actually get everybody redetermined that is eligible for redetermination. And so if an individual, though, who we contact regarding redetermination does not respond with required information, there is a chance that they will lose their coverage. And if they lose their coverage, they basically lose their health care. So it's really critical that people watch for information from us, from the Department of Healthcare and Family Services, that they take the steps necessary to reapply, provide whatever documents are necessary, but most importantly, respond so that we know that they've heard from us and that they are working to get us the information that we need to ensure that their coverage can continue.
Okay, so let's go to kind of a big question. What does someone need to do to ensure they will receive the renewal letter? And I think we have some like an image from you guys we're going to put on the screen too as you walk through that answer. Go ahead.
Sure, sure. So if you've moved in the last few years, or not living at that address where you lived when you first applied, it's really important that we know where you're living so that we're able to reach you. So you can log into the Manage My Case portal. If you've not logged into this before, there's I believe, a link, that makes that much easier. So you can update your information online so that we have the correct address to reach you at with your redetermination documents. We also have information on our website, a renewal information page. There's a quick Medicaid address change form in the center of that page. So we've really tried to make this as easy as possible for customers to keep us informed about their current mailing address and living situation. So we can't help you if we can't find you, but we really want to find you.
Okay. That's great. Now, how will someone renew the renewal notice come? Will it become, by email, the old school post office, like come in their mailbox? Will we get a text message? I mean, are we going to find someone knocking on our door and be concerned as frauds and scams? And, they're trying to take advantage and getting our personal information. So how's it coming and how do we know it's the right information?
Sure, that's a great question. No, first of all, nobody's going to come to your door. You're going to get a letter through the post office, through the mail, from HFS, Healthcare and Family Services. There's going to be an official state seal in the return address of that letter. So it will look like official. Yes, you can see it on your screen. It will look like official government mail. You may get calls, texts, and emails if you are enrolled in a managed care plan. That could be Molina, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana, Aetna, Meridian, or County Care. All of our plans are supporting us and you in helping to get the word out about the importance of redetermination. So again, we launched a campaign close to a year ago, but I can also tell you that each of the Medicaid health plans, which serve many individuals, are also undertaking this effort and trying to contact people. But watch for the letter. That's the critical first piece.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does the letter automatically, I mean, will you get 2 letters? Will I get one from the state? And if I have one from Molina, will they be 2 letters coming in my mailbox? And is it the same information?
It is the same information. Yeah, we're working closely, with our plans on this. There could be 2 letters, but what I want to say about that, it's the letter from the state. We the state of Illinois, have the I guess the authority, the legal authority to redetermine your case.
Okay.
The managed care plans are supporting that effort, and we're really trying to work together to combine our resources and make sure that we can find and reach people. but the Medicaid health plan itself will not do the redetermination
Got it.
of your eligibility. That's going to be a state function, Lori.
Right. So that's going to be just like AARP, educating the public about this. FYI, it's coming. Know it's coming in the mail and be ready to respond. So this kind of transition to our next one. Where do you go in the community for more help? Or if you have a loved one in a nursing home, or if you have grandkids, you need to have a conversation with your own children about this. Where do you go, in the community for more information on Medicaid renewal?
Sure. Well, first of all, we always are promoting our website and some of our information. We have some phone numbers that I think are very useful to people. But from a community perspective or an office perspective, the Illinois Department of Human Services has offices around the state that are the best locations to assist with Medicaid renewals. They're called Family and Community Resource Centers. And to find an office near you, the Illinois Department of Human Services has an office locator feature on their website. And they also have a toll-free helpline, Lori, and I'm happy to share that number with you. It's actually 1-833-2 and then find help.
Wonderful.
And yes, that can be shared a little bit more broadly, but we've really tried to be as broad and inclusive in making this an easy process for our customers. Phone, email, websites, and not necessarily requiring people to go to an office to undertake this work.
And we just had, this was great. We just put up on the screen. Let's do it again. If you don't speak English or Spanish, how can one complete a renewal over the phone in their preferred language? We have a phone number up there we pulled from your site. Tell us who you're going to be talking to, and will they be understanding your language?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great question. And because we really realize the importance of diversity among our customer base and the fact that we have to be able to reach people in different languages. So when they call that call center, I appreciate you putting that number up there. They're going to be able to access a live interpreter that can assist with translation services. So there is also a language access option that's going to translate most pages into over 130 languages. And that can also help individuals with their address form changes as well. So again, live interpretation and translation available, but also an online tool that can help people translate particular pages if they're, focused in on certain questions.
That's wonderful. So and I think we're going to have a slide here. Where does one go to renew their Medicaid, and how do you do it?
Sure. We really encourage people online to go to www.abe.illinois.gov to manage my case, to really set up, if they haven't yet set up an online case. We really encourage people to do that. Just a word of caution when you first do that, like with anything that when you first set up an account online, there may be some identity proofing, some questions that you have to answer, ways that, you have to configure your account so that we can make sure it's set up properly and verified and not subject to scam. But we really encourage people to use Manage My Case.
That's wonderful. We're going to leave this slide up for a little bit longer because I believe this is critical. This is why we're here. So how you get the information. Now, what if you're no longer eligible for Medicaid? What do you do? How do you know if that's the case?
Sure. I mean, if you believe you're no longer eligible for Medicaid because of your income, maybe there's been a job change or a change in some of your assets. We really encourage people to reach out to the marketplace. It is open through January 15th, 2024. It's at www.getcoveredillinois.gov. and you can shop or enroll for coverage that works for you. It's in an open enrollment period right now, Lori, November 1st through January 15th of each year. If you really believe that you're not going to be eligible for Medicaid, we'd encourage people to check that out as soon as possible. If you enroll by December 15th, your coverage will begin January 1st, 2024. You may also qualify too for financial assistance to lower, some of your premiums. So, we really encourage people to go to that marketplace. One thing we're committed to in Illinois, very strongly, is ensuring that every eligible individual has access to health care. And if your situation has changed and that's no longer Medicaid, we really want to direct you to the marketplace to see what's available to meet your needs. We believe healthcare it's a human right, and are prepared to take steps to help you experience that.
That's wonderful. And for all of you that are joining us today, or you're joining us at a later time, if you've registered for today's events, we have tried our hardest to put some critical links and information and phone numbers, and that's going to be resent to you as our thank you follow-up. So if you're rushing to write it down, trying to find the pin that's not there, know that we're going to be providing it, because that's making sure you have access to the information. Kelly, I'm going to go off script. I'm going to ask you this one. If I get my renewal in the mail, how long do I have to respond and send it back? Do I have a year? Do I have 30 days? What's the timeline?
Yes. So, I mean, you basically have 30 days, but the timing when you receive that letter, your coverage is not terminating at the end of that month. What we're looking at is having you respond so that if your coverage, I believe, terminates the next month, we have everything in place to ensure your case is not closed. Okay. So the answer is really 30 days. We want people to respond as quickly as possible. But we also know sometimes it takes a while to gather documents, or find that financial information, or find that missing piece of information that you need. What we have tried to do too is use a 1-month grace period. If you miss your original due date, we're not going to terminate your coverage immediately. We're going to give you another month, send you a follow-up letter. You'll probably be hearing a little more aggressively, if you're a managed care plan member, from your plan about what to do. But we're really trying to maximize the amount of time available to individuals to retain that coverage. So if you miss your original period and your grace period, you may lose your coverage a bit for a bit. But one thing I do want to stress with individuals is you can always reapply. This is not a one and done or a two and done. You can reapply, and there's a chance that we can reinstate you for that previous period. So it really just kind of depends on your circumstance. But we're really encouraging people to respond as quickly as possible. And even if they've missed their original date and are in that grace period, please respond.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Now, okay, what happens if the time is elapsed, right? I just frankly got a lot on my plate. Mom's sick, dad's sick, I got kids, I lost my job. Going through the mail is not my priority. Paying the bills is, and I miss my timeline. What do I do if I accidentally forget to renew my Medicaid on time?
If you find that paperwork, get it in as soon as possible. If you're remembering that you've seen it and you can't find the paperwork, please call us. Use that AARP hotline. Get online. Please reach out, because you shouldn't assume just because you've missed a due date or two that you no longer qualify. You deserve to have your case evaluated and assessed, independently of any due dates. You may lose coverage for a bit, but you may not. We'll do our best to reinstate coverage where a person is eligible for that period of time. if at all possible. We can try to reinstate back coverage. We can't guarantee it, but we do need to hear from you.
Absolutely. And then for all of you viewers that are maybe outside of Illinois and joining us today, we also are going to hopefully include here on our chat, but also in our email and our social media posts, a link. It's kind of lengthy, but just click it. It will get you to all the state Medicaid enrollment links. So there's going to be the link and then also the phone number. And then there's a very nice map you can be able to see. So again, if you're outside the state of Illinois, this is critical information for you, and AARP is going to be providing that, and it's from the federal government as well. So next, what about scams happening around Medicaid renewal, and what do you do if you think you're a victim?
Sure, sure. And this is an issue that has come up. I haven't heard of anything new on this front for a couple of months, but I do know that early on, when states started their redetermination processes, some states, Illinois started a little later than most states, but some states started back in April. There were some scams where certain entities were out there charging people to assist with their redetermination. Want to stress that no one should charge you to assist with a redetermination. This is absolutely free to you. This is absolutely a benefit and free to you. So if you think you've been a target of a scam, or if someone has attempted to charge you for redetermination work, again, please contact us immediately so that we can report that. I had not, like I said, heard this becoming much of an issue in Illinois, but for some of those states that started the process earlier, this did come up. But please let us know, and we'll work to address that.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And then again, if you're joining us and you're outside the state, in our social media, Facebook and YouTube feed, you're going to see a link that's going to take you to information for the federal government to renew your Medicaid coverage. And that's going to have a very easy access map. You can click on your state or scroll down, just find the name of your state to find the information to connect you to the phone number and the link to their website of where you or your loved ones need to go. So we're coming to the end. This has been very informative. Where does one go for other questions and help? We have abe.illinois.gov, 1-800-843-6154. Is that the right information, Kelly?
That's great information, and you can contact that information. You can access that online at your convenience. Hours are 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, except for state holidays. And we have, I believe, tried to expand those hours, during various times where we anticipate heavy utilization. But please, yes, reach out through one of those venues. That's the most direct way to reach us with any questions or concerns.
This is wonderful. We're going to keep that banner up for all of you that are joining us today to write it down. But we have come to a little over 30 minutes, and this has been very informative. And I thank you, Kelly, from HFS, for joining us today. Any kind of closing takeaways that people can write down about why Medicaid matters to them and their loved ones, and next steps that you can give us? Give us the jewels to take away.
Sure. If I had to stress anything, I think it would be what I try to do as well, and that is share the message with everybody that's important to you. If you have a family member, friend, people you know from church, school, work, your volunteer opportunities that may be connected to Medicaid in some way, share with them the need to watch their redetermination dates, their need to maintain their enrollment. People have probably gotten out of the habit of doing this for the last couple of years because they haven't had to. We all are like that. But this program is so big and so important and provides such an important health benefit, really, for 1 in 4 Illinoisans.
Wow.
So keeping coverage, I mean, if you think about it from that perspective, 1 in 4 of us are touched by the Medicaid program in this state. And so keeping that coverage is so important. And it's something that you can do for the people that you love in your lives, So, reach out to them, remind them of the need to keep their coverage current. We're here to help. we've tried to make this really as easy as possible, using technology, using, phone and internet access. But I can't stress enough just how important it is to keep the message going.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for all of you that are joining us today or you're watching it later. This is AARP Illinois, and we did a little over a 30-minute power session on why Medicaid matters to you as we are in the process of unwinding from that pandemic coverage. This event handling could not have been possible without the expertise of Kelly Cunningham from the state of Illinois, giving us, frankly, the need to know information, simplifying for us, giving us the resources, the phone numbers, and where to go. And that's what we need today. We need the information and be able to check it off our list and get it done. So we thank you as always. You're absolutely fabulous. And thank you, members, volunteers, all of our listeners, and those that are just joining us with friends and family. We appreciate it. We hope you continue to watch AARP for virtual events on education or fun and fulfillment. If you're watching this and you say, okay, this is kind of a good one, just please share, because this is about information and getting the access to that information out there. The more we share, the more we educate, the more we can make a difference in protecting someone's critical health care that we have just kind of gotten used to having going during that pandemic era. And that's over, thank goodness. So, and thank you. And if you're looking for more information with AARP, please feel free to go to our website, states@aarp.org/Illinois. And up there, again, I'm grateful to have the phone number anyone can call about the Medicaid renewal. So thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for your team. And this concludes today's virtual event. Thank you so much. Have a great day.